Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Local Business Spotlight. My name is Diana Lockie and I'm a local real estate agent. I usually work in Apex and Cary, but I'm also interested in Lee County, and today we're in Sanford, North Carolina, just about 30 minutes away from where I am in Apex. It's a very interesting area. It's always growing, and a lot of new construction here. A lot of people from Wake County like to move here because of the cost is a little bit lower, even though it's going up as we speak, because of all the interest in this area. There's still a lot of space you can get with your house if you buy here. So it's interesting. It's also good for investing, real estate investing. If you're buying rentals, it's a great place to invest. A lot of fixers to work on too. And with that, I'm happy to be in Sanford, and also today on our feature, I have an interview with Jan Squillace. She's the manager of the flight club here. It's Odyssey Aero Club.
One of the flight clubs here, yes.
One of the flight clubs, yeah. And I appreciate you having me here. And I wanted to speak with you about your experience and about the club. And yeah, thanks for having me.
Glad to be here and welcome to Sanford.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So yeah, tell me about the club.
Well, Odyssey Aero Club is a club where you can come and rent airplanes, modern aircraft that are, all of them are less than 20 years old, with modern avionics and modern equipment. But to join the club, you have to already be a private pilot. We do instrument commercial CFI training, but we do not do private training. You have to already be a pilot when you come to join us. But that's, a lot of people have private, we get a lot of people that come and haven't flown in a number of years and they just know they want to fly more modern aircraft. They come to us.
Yeah, oh, that's cool. So there's people from probably all walks of life that are hobby, they like to fly airplanes, but they don't necessarily own one. So
yeah, very few of them own an aircraft, because aircraft are expensive. I mean, get real.
Yeah.
That's the way it is. So they're happy to fly our modern aircraft at an affordable rate. And because it's a nonprofit club, the club, doesn't take much off the top, just enough to keep us running for our scheduling system and office rent and that kind of stuff. But it's not, the overhead for the club is not much.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty cool. So how much does it cost to rent an airplane and fly?
We have two DA-40s that run on what's called avgas, which is kind of like high test gas. They have slightly different capabilities. So one is $170 an hour, the other one is $180 an hour.
Okay.
And also another thing that we have that pilots like is we also have a simulator that's certified by the FAA, and you can maintain your instrument currency in it for $30 an hour, which is, in airplane terms, that's a bargain.
Yeah.
So we get a lot of pilots that own their own aircraft, and they don't necessarily want to fly our aircraft, but they do want to use our simulator.
Okay.
So we get a lot of members that way, and that helps keep the cost for everybody down a little bit because it's spread over more pilots.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty interesting. Yeah. So how did you get started to fly?
Oh, I always wanted to fly. I mean, even when I was a kid, but I grew up in the 50s and the 60s, and I was always told, well, that's not appropriate for a female. I joined the Civil Air Patrol at age 16, thought, oh boy, I get to fly, only to find out they gave orientation flights only for the boys. I lasted about a month, and my mother said I stomped around the house for about 2 months. After that, I was so mad. And I forgot about it for many years. When our children were little, my husband and I took them up in a 172 in a sightseeing flight down at the beach, and they let me sit up front. Oh boy. And things were never quite the same after that. And when my children graduated from high school, that's when I finally got a chance to do something for Mom, and I started taking flight lessons.
Oh, that's wonderful, yeah. So at that time it was okay for women to...
Well, I mean, I came from a very conservative family that, women were teachers and secretaries. I spent my professional career as a computer programmer, and when I was, and you couldn't even go to college for it then because they didn't have college courses so early in the computer business. And I remember my grandfather saying, why don't you take a typing course and become a secretary or something, do something decent. And I thought, well, okay. And then when I got my first programming job, I already made 3 times what I could make as a secretary. And I was a lot better at that than I would have been a secretary.
Yeah, I see. Okay, yeah, that's, I guess, very
Times have
different.
changed, thank
Very
goodness.
different, yes, yeah, times have changed for sure, yeah. So where are you originally from?
I was born in Altoona, Pennsylvania, and I spent my growing up years in the Philadelphia area. I went up to Darby High School and I got my master's degree at Drexel University in Philadelphia, in Western Philadelphia. And my husband decided he wanted to work for this little software company he'd heard of, and that's what brought us to Cary, was good old SAS.
Oh, wow.
You know, which in those days was called the Statistical Analysis System, but it later became just SAS. So that's he worked there 30 years, and after our children were in school, I worked there 23 years. So I spent many years as a computer programmer.
Yes, yeah. And meanwhile, you kept up your hobby of flying.
No, I had not started flying.
Okay.
I didn't start flying until I was almost retired.
Oh, wow.
So,
Okay.
you know, I started flying about 10 years before I retired. I was in a department meeting, and one of the guys was getting congratulated because he had just earned his private pilot license. He's not that much smarter than I am. I could probably do that. And that's when I started bugging my husband about it.
Yeah.
So,
but I'm sure he knew what you wanted to do anyway, so.
well, he heard me talking about the private pilot license after Gary got his, and it's like, well, all right, we'll have to see how this goes. We gotta get these kids through school first.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
So I did.
Yes, that's right, yeah. So, so what made you so did you start the club, or the club was already here?
No, I started it.
Oh, you started the club?
I started the club, yeah.
Okay.
I was member of Wings of Carolina, which is the other flying club here on the field.
Okay.
And I was president, and I was their safety officer for years, and I was always saying we need to get more modern aircraft, because all their aircraft are, 20th century things, 50 to 70 years old. And, they've upgraded them over the years, but they're still old aircraft. And I wanted to fly more modern aircraft. So when my husband and I decided to buy our own aircraft, that's what we bought, was a DA-40, which is what the club flies right now. And I tried to convince them. They kept saying, no, there's no market for it. There's no market for it. And eventually, a couple of my friends in the club said, we'd really be interested in flying your airplane. I said, okay. What we need is another club. So I went to Bob Hughes, the airport manager that you just met, and his only comment was, how can I help you?
Wonderful.
So he is fabulous.
Yes, yeah, that's amazing, yeah.
And the club's been around almost 6 years.
Yeah. So, so what motivates you? What drives you to do what you do?
Well, keeping the airplanes flying, that's my responsibility as the general manager. And I'm also a flight instructor. I do a lot of the checkouts to make sure pilots can fly our aircraft safely and don't bend anything. Because it gets expensive when things get bent.
Yeah.
But safe modern aircraft is where we're at.
Yeah. And what are your customers, I guess they're not customers, they're club members?
Well, we call them members, yeah, but
what-
they're customers.
Yeah, your customers. So what do they say they love most about your club?
Modern aircraft.
Okay.
We're one of the few places around where you can fly a DA-40, a modern DA-40, affordably.
Okay, yeah. Oh, we need to get the word out there about that, yeah.
Yeah.
So I bet there's only not that many in the whole state, I bet.
Well, there's a lot of DA-40s, but they're mostly used by the flight schools that train for the airlines.
Okay.
And they're not really available to the ordinary pilot to fly. They're not available for traveling.
Okay, so that's what's unique about this club.
Right. We encourage, in fact, our name is Odyssey. We expect you to go on trips.
Yeah.
We don't want you to just train. We want you to actually have some fun with it.
Okay.
And we have club trips, and we have socials, and we encourage the members to get to know each other and find their flying friends and their flying buddies. We've had a couple of groups, one group already has gone out and bought their own airplane, but from people they met at the club.
Yeah, that's wonderful, yeah. So yeah, I hear that this airport is expanding and there's more building available. They're starting to build a lot so they can accommodate more planes. And I'm thinking it's because of the attention that the club is also bringing here.
Well, that's part of it. Most of our construction right now is for corporate hangars.
Mhm.
A lot of companies are finding this is far more affordable to build a large box hangar for for storing airplanes, and it's less expensive here than it is at RDU. And if you've got business in Chatham County or Lee County, you're right here now already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's part of the expanding of the area too,
Mhm,
because
mhm.
you're bringing in all these large businesses. They're looking into Lee County and these areas, and yeah, and the growth is here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, what are your goals for the next year?
Keep the airplanes flying
Yeah.
safely.
Safely, yeah. Do the same with more.
Right.
Are you planning on adding more?
Yeah, we deal with leased aircraft. The
Okay.
club does not own the aircraft. We lease them from the owners.
Okay, I
And
see.
we've got a group that's getting together to buy another aircraft
Mhm.
to lease it to the club. So,
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
so if you want to own an aircraft and not really have to worry about it, I'd be happy to take care of it for you.
Oh, okay. So that's how it works. So you would
Mhm.
maintain it and.
I make sure the maintenance gets done.
Okay.
There are a lot of rules and regulations, how often you have to change the oil, how often it has to be inspected for various things. There are all different kinds of inspections that have to be done. I'm responsible for taking care of that for the club airplanes.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
The owner just has to pay the bill.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But you're the manager. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the general manager, yes.
Yeah. So, what else do you do besides running the club?
My husband says I just live and breathe airplanes. So this actually was my hobby.
Yeah.
Because I used, as I said, I worked at SAS for 23 years, and I wanted to retire. I retired from SAS and I started the club a few years later
Yeah.
after I got my flight instructor certificates.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, that's cool. So, anything exciting that's going on in the next year or so that our viewers should know about?
Well, as I say, we're hoping to expand our fleet because we have plenty of members coming in through the doors. Right now, we do not have a waiting list, which a lot of flying clubs do, for lack of airplanes. But I don't know how far we are from having to have a waiting list. That's the catch. So I'm really looking for more DA-40s. I want DA-40s with G1000 avionics in them is what I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, anything with a G1000, I'd be happy to talk about.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for this interview.
You're welcome, and thank you for coming.
Yeah, and I appreciate it. And with that, we're almost ready to wrap up. Just tell us really quick, how can viewers reach out to you?
Odyssey Aero Club. OdysseyAeroClub.org is our website. I encourage you to go out there and take a look around, and you'll have the information.
Yes, I'll
Yes.
post it also.
Yeah. Just check it out, and you can. Our contact numbers are out there. You can contact us by email or phone or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Do you also have social media pages?
We have an Odyssey Facebook group
Mhm.
that anybody can join, but that's mostly flying information. That's run by one of my instructors,
Okay.
who does a really good job with it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's mostly what it's for. And me personally, I do a lot of safety seminars for the FAA as a volunteer FAST team member.
Okay.
So you can find me online on Wednesday nights a lot of times. You look at FAAsafety.gov if you're a pilot and you're interested in my safety seminars. Come on out and visit with me. I'd be happy to see you.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thanks again. And with that, we're concluding this episode of Local Business Spotlight. And again, thank you for watching. We're here from filming from Sanford, North Carolina. A little bit, not that far away from home, but we're here in Lee County. And with that, thank you.